this is Mariam from Young Teacher channel. Okay, so today we're going to learn about past perfect and how to form it and how to use it. But before we start, let me ask you a question. What does the past perfect mean? The past perfect means that a past action was completed, started and finished in the past, but before another past action. So yes, the past perfect talks about the oldest action that happened. So let's move on to the form and then the uses. Okay, so in English we have two types of verbs, regular verbs and irregular verbs. So with the regular verbs now, had plus past participle, verb plus ed to form the past participle. But I only wrote had. Does had is used with all subjects and all nouns? Well, yes, had is used with I, they, you, we, he, she, it, or any plural and any singular noun. So, for example, I had finished my homework. We have three states to add the ed in the verbs. For example, verbs ending in an e. So we have the infinitive form of the verb plus the d. Like close, wipe, or live. Had plus past participle. For example, I had lived here. Another state, verbs ending in y preceded by a consonant. The y becomes I, like spy or fly, etc. Had plus past participle plus verb plus ed. And that verb is an infinitive form of the verb, or yes, the infinitive form of the verb. For example, I had spied on my neighbors. The last state, verbs ending in consonant preceded by vowel. We double the consonant, like rob, hop, etc. Had plus past participle plus verb plus ed. Verb plus ed to form the past participle. I had robbed the company from my son. So that means that I took the company from my son. Okay, so let's move on to the irregular verbs. Had plus past participle, and be careful, we don't add verb plus ed in irregular verbs. Because irregular verbs have unique past perfect form. For example, I had quit my job. So quit here means that I left my job. But we cannot put ed because quit. It has a unique past perfect form. Negative, regular verbs, had plus not plus past participle, and verb plus ed to form the past participle. For example, I hadn't waited for too long. I hadn't waited for too long. With the regular verbs, had plus not plus past participle, which have unique past perfect form. For example, I hadn't quit my job. Okay, so let's move on the question. We have two types of question, yes or no question and WH question. So with irregular verbs, had plus subject plus past participle, which have unique past perfect form. For example, had and left when I came. Had and left when I came. WH question. Question word plus had plus subject plus BP. And yes, when we say past participle, it means BP, which have unique past perfect form. For example, when had and left. Now with regular verbs, first yes or no question, had, we start with had, plus subject plus the past participle or the BB. Verb plus ed to make or to form the BB. Had I finished my homework before an? Double H question, question word plus had plus subject plus BB. Where had you worked? Where had you worked? Okay, so now let's move on to the uses. How to use the past perfect. Okay, we use the past perfect tense to express an activity that was completed before another activity or time in the past. So the use is the same as the meaning of past perfect. Yes, they are exactly the same. So we can get the use from the title or from the meaning of the tense. Yeah, it's so simple. So, for example, Sam had left when Anne came. So this chart here express or tell us which one happened first or how does it happen. So this action here refers to Sam and this action here refers to Anne. But the action refers to Sam when he had left happened first before Anne. So this tells us that the past perfect is the oldest action happened in the past. So yes, Sam had left when Anne came. But note, before and after are not often used in past perfect because the relationship of time is already clear. You know which action happened first. You don't need to use before and after to talk about the first action and the second action because you already know which action happened first. And yes, this was the end of the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it and know how to use and how to form the past perfect. Goodbye and thanks for watching.